Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, out here at Jack's American Pub. Folks, this is where you want to be, right? Take that shuttle to and from the Brewers games, and it's perfect. You come in here. This place is amazing, man. It's a couple of different levels. Come in, hang out. They got, two 200-inch TVs for all the games that you want to watch, Brewers, Bucks, all the pro games, all that stuff going on here at Jack's American Pub. And then, of course, they got 69-cent wings on Mondays. Buy a pizza, get a pitcher of beer for free on Thursdays. All kinds of cool stuff. And we're out here in large part thanks to our fine friends over there at Sun Cruiser. That's right. Baseball calls for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshingly smooth and easy to drink with no bubbles to fill you up. It's perfect. The game day sipper. Plus, each Sun Cruiser is only 100 calories and 4.5% alcohol, making it perfect for anywhere your watch party takes you. Crack one open today and let the good times cruise Milwaukee. So again, our thanks to Sun Cruiser. We have all kinds of fan merch out here. Our relief pitcher fan shirts are out here. We got bucket hats. We got pop sockets for the phones. Sun Cruiser merchandise. All of that can be yours. Come on out, stop by, say hi, and pick what you would like. Coming up on today's show here in hour number 2, 3 o'clock hour, we'll hear from Matt LaFleur momentarily on some of the things that he had to say earlier on. We had a conversation earlier today on the Mason Crosby show when I filled in for Mason Crosby, who was off today. He'll be back tomorrow. And I was talking with Tommy Wirtz about Freddie Peralta and Christian Yelich, because Freddie Peralta, win number 17 last night for Freddie Peralta. Win 17 for Freddie Peralta. Christian Yelich, 29 home runs, 99 RBIs, right? So both with really good years when you look at the numbers. So we're going to get into the impressiveness of both of those. And if one stands out more than the other, we'll get into that in the next segment. And then Charlie's Sounds of the Day. If you've never heard that before, brought to you by Prize Picks. It's a great segment. Charlie picks 3 random clips from around the world of sports. I don't know what they are most of the time. And then he plays them, and then I just react to them, whatever it could be. It could be from TV shows, could be from podcasts, wherever he decides to pick it from. That's the way we go, and it's a lot of fun. So that comes up at 3:40 every day, Monday through Friday. All right, let's hear some different things here from Matt LaFleur going forward here. Let's talk about the situation at right tackle. In this last game, we saw escalate. Mr. Belton getting the start out there at right tackle with a Zach Tom injury, with the oblique that he is dealing with. What does this mean now? What's going to happen going into this game against Cleveland on Sunday?
Yeah, I thought he just did a great job all in all. Obviously, it starts with knowing what to do, but going out there and playing with really good physicality. He had a couple knockdown blocks. The one play that you'd like to have back is the holding penalty, where we just got a little loose with our and wide with our arms. That caused a holding penalty, and it took points off the board. But outside of that, I thought he played really, really well.
I thought he played really well too. And yesterday, we've been talking about how both of those guys played. Got really good reviews on Belton, but the common thing is not sure he's ready to play every week currently. Maybe he can fill in there for a couple of weeks, maybe not ready to start the rest of the season at right tackle. Now, the one thing that you would assume, Charlie, and you being a former offensive lineman in college, I'm assuming you're going to agree with this, the best way to get better is to play, right? I mean, we can talk about this all day about practice here and practice there, and oh boy, we're getting better in practice. But until you're actually in a game situation with the crowd noise and everything else, now going on the road here, if Belton gets to start this week, now he gets that road environment. That's the best way for him to get better, and probably the quickest way for him to get better.
The only way for an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman to go full force in any given football moment is to be in a live action game. You're not allowed to go 100% in practice ever, really, because there's the thought that you are going to hurt somebody, either as an offensive lineman or as a defensive lineman, that somebody's going to end up getting run over, somebody's legs are going to get tripped over, somebody's going to get stuck under somebody. You can't do anything full force in practice, and therefore you can't really get that much better in practice as a lineman. You have to be in game like you're talking about. And I think for a guy like Anthony Belton, especially, that is so important to kind of see how his skills transition from college to the NFL. And that's also why with Jordan Morgan, it worries me more and more that it seems like he is consistently going to be that backup in this group for the entire season, because that's 2 straight years of not getting consistent playing time. And that's a little strange when you are an offensive lineman still trying to find their place in the league.
It's something to pay attention to because they wanted him to play left tackle. So they said, okay, it's him and Rasheed Walker. Let's see what happens. They give the job to Rasheed Walker, which was obviously the smart determination. But he could have possibly, I don't know, maybe could have won that starting right guard spot for Sean Ryan. That was the one area where you thought maybe he could win that job. That was the competition he was in last year. And they didn't offer him that spot either. And instead, it's like, okay, well, we're going to rotate you in. And then immediately Banks gets hurt at left guard. And there goes Jordan Morgan over there to play at the left guard spot. And as we talked about in the last day or so, there's a conclusion being made, I think, from everybody of he's better at tackle than he is at guard probably.
Which is weird because I think that when you look at a guy like Jordan Morgan, the Packers drafted him in order to be all over the offensive line, be able to play wherever they needed him to, and they'd made him a first-round pick because they felt like he had that position versatility. And I know that it kind of works out because you don't need to pay Rasheed Walker, and you don't really want to pay Rasheed Walker what he's probably going to be asking for. At the same time, you would hope that he is getting more of a rotation at that left tackle position, that when guys are going down on the offensive line, that you find a way to get him in at left tackle and you move people around that way. You try to figure it out somehow to get him into that spot. And it just doesn't seem like they're trying that hard to get him into that spot. So if he is better at that position, the Packers don't seem to believe that.
No, and I agree. I don't think the Packers seem to believe that either. But the writing is still on the wall. Rasheed Walker probably out of a job at the end of the year when he becomes a free agent. And then ready or not, here comes Jordan Morgan. He's going to have to play left tackle. What will be interesting to see is even though the Packers don't have that first-round pick because they traded it as part of that deal from Micah Parsons, how heavily will they go at tackle in the upcoming draft? They invested a second-round pick in Belton this last year at tackle. Do you see them take another tackle on day 2 in April? Because if they do, that is not a good sign for Jordan Morgan if they take a tackle in the 2nd or 3rd round in April.
I just don't see a world where they are going to do that. I feel like you have to spend your first couple of picks at defensive back. I think that is very obviously the weakest part of this team, and they're still very good. They played a really great game against Washington last week.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd rather see Jordan Morgan get a shot. I'd rather see Anthony Belton get a shot than see Keyshawn Nixon get another shot, or see even some of these guys like Carrington Valentine out there getting shots. I would like higher drafted players with more of an upside from just based on what we have seen from them than what we're seeing from the guys that are on the field right now.
Charlie using there, see Sparky Fifer here, again, hanging out at Jack's American Pub on Brady Street. Come on out, hang out with us. 5 o'clock, Tommy Wirtz, a big old hunk of love. He'll be out here from 5 until 6:30, getting ready for first pitch with the Brewers. We'll hear from Pat Murphy before the game. Andrew Wagner, a Forbes Sports Brewers writer, will join as well. Austin Herdenia, the sportsbook manager at Potawatomi, will give his parlay pick of the day. So again, 5 to 6:30 out here, Jack's American Pub. Come hang out. And then don't forget, Pat Murphy, Brewers manager, will be on Middays with Thunder tomorrow morning at 11:30 with Thunder and Tommy Wirtz. So again, Pat Murphy tomorrow morning, 11:30 here on The Fan. It should be a good one. All right, back to some of more of Matt LaFleur's comments here. There are a couple of different things that I'm interested in. One of which is Jaden Reed being hurt and going to be out till like November, sometime in November. You've got 2 rookie wide receivers on this team right now in Savion Williams, who they're kind of bringing along slowly and trying to get him up to speed with what they want to do. And he's had some snaps. But then you also have Matthew Golden, who has been getting significant run, but the timing seems off a little bit, right? The chemistry is off a little bit with Jordan Love. LaFleur talked about the development of these rookie wide receivers.
Well, the beauty is that I don't think we have to force anything. It can kind of organically happen over time. And that's how much confidence we have in that group. So a lot of it truly allows the quarterback to read everything out and take or go wherever the ball needs to go based on whatever coverages we're seeing.
That's the interesting thing, too, is when we talk about Jordan Love and how he plays. He's not, with all due respect to Aaron Rodgers, he's not forcing the ball to a receiver regardless of there being a multiple guys on him or not. Towards the end, Aaron Rodgers, regardless if there was a guy running wide open down the middle of the field, he was going to force that sucker in to Davante Adams. Jordan Love doesn't do that. And really, if you say Jordan Love has done that, there's only one guy. That's Christian Watson, where maybe he's pushed the envelope a little bit because of Watson's length, his ability to go up and high point a ball. I think that's part of the reason why you see that. But otherwise, it is normally throwing to the open guy, regardless of what name is on your jersey. And I think that is one of the strong points of Jordan Love, Charlie.
I think it's also a little bit of a weak point, though. I think that a lot of the times for a quarterback and wide receiver to build that type of connection that an Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams had, it takes a lot of trust from both sides for them to do that. And the way that Jordan Love, I think what I've seen him do so far this season, so far last season, and even that first year, is it feels like that if a guy isn't performing all the way up, he tends to stay away from them. And I think that can kind of pigeonhole you later in games if that's not the way you want to go about it. I think there's benefits sometimes to Aaron Rodgers saying, you know what, it's late in a game, it's the fourth quarter, we're pretty close in this. I understand that a Marquez Valdes-Scantlings might be open on this route, but Davante Adams is right there. And I trust Davante Adams the most. He's the guy that I have been throwing the ball to in these situations. I trust him to make a play. And Davante Adams on the other side is thinking, you know what, I may be bracket covered by the corner and the safety on this play, but I'm going to do my best to get open because I know Aaron wants to come to me in this situation. And I think that type of connection creates those big-time plays that really do change the momentums of games versus playing it safe and just going to whoever's open at any given moment and trusting checkdowns for an entire drive.
But that leads to the next conversation of who does he really have that chemistry with, right? Romeo Doubs, he probably has that chemistry with more so than anybody else at this point.
We're seeing it with Tucker Kraft a little bit. I think
Tucker Kraft a little bit too.
After 2 weeks, I'm seeing Tucker Kraft kind of become that safety blanket for a Jordan Love, which I think is a pretty good sign compared to the guys that I think you want to compare Jordan Love to. Patrick Mahomes, who's kind of that improviser type of player that can move around in the pocket a little bit. That's what you can hope for from a Jordan Love. And Patrick Mahomes' top target for his entire career has been Travis Kelce. Kind of feels like there's shades of that a little bit.
I hope that's exactly what happens. That's the matchup I want. Mahomes to Kelce, Love to Kraft. That is how I want this to play out for sure. LaFleur talked about the performance by Tucker Kraft in that week 2 matchup against Washington.
Oh, just his ability to make big plays. He was perfect on his ops. And then I just love his mentality after the catch, playing physical. Obviously he had the one on the little keeper that we ran, or that little boot pass that we dumped off to him where he was able to throw the defender out of the way and get a bunch of yak. So, but yeah, he's going to need another strong performance this week.
Need. Let's not use the word need when talking about the Cleveland Browns. We don't need Tucker Kraft to have a strong performance in order to beat the Cleveland Browns. If you need Tucker Kraft to have a strong performance to beat the Cleveland Browns, we have more issues we have to talk about with this Packers team, not named Tucker Kraft at this point, Charlie. There's no need to say the word need going up against Cleveland. Like, no receiver, no tight end needs to have a big week necessarily. Just catch the ball, don't drop the ball, and we'll be fine.
I don't know if I 100% agree with you.
Oh, come on.
And this is the exact kind of same argument that I think we had after week 1 when it felt like the Packers had that game out of reach versus the Lions, and they left all their starters in at the end of the game. And you were mad about that because it's only week 1 that it doesn't feel like that Jordan Love needs to be out here getting hurt.
Correct.
Any of these players need to get out here and hurt. It's about creating this mentality of a championship contender like we feel like this team is. Tucker Kraft goes out there and has a monster week 2. And I think as a head coach, you want to make sure that he continues with that energy. He continues with that juice. You keep building that relationship with Jordan Love, like we were talking about just a little bit ago, and how you build that connection. And I think going out there, it's not a need to beat the Cleveland Browns. It's not a need to have him do this in order to make the offense as explosive as we've seen. It's a need for Tucker Kraft personally. It's a need for Jordan Love personally. It's a need for the mentality of this organization for him to go out there and continue to play that way. It's not for the win. It's for the team.
The other part about this with what Matt LaFleur had to talk about today, and we talk about Tucker Kraft a little bit, is his ability to block and run block. Because if you remember when they drafted Tucker Kraft, they drafted Luke Musgrave before they drafted Tucker Kraft. Luke Musgrave was going to be the guy that Tucker Kraft has become, right? He was going to stretch the field. He was going to be their big play guy. Tucker Kraft was going to be a nice little red zone target, but more about run blocking and being physical at the line of scrimmage. That's how this was supposed to play. It hasn't played that way, but LaFleur talked about Kraft as a blocker so far.
I'd say same way. I just think that he continues to develop. I think one of the things that he's had to learn is Tuck is always a kind of guy that's going to try to embarrass you, if you will. He's going to try to do everything he can to have those big blow up highlight reel blocks. And I don't think that's necessarily always the best way to go about it. Because at times, if you're overly aggressive, you'll get out of control and you'll end up missing the block. So I think that's something that he's had to learn when to take his shots and how to dial that back.
The thing about Tucker Kraft is he plays with an edge, right? He kind of plays like an offensive lineman a little bit, right? He plays with a nasty streak to him. He ain't finesse and diva-ish like a wide receiver. He's not necessarily a running back either at this point, but he ain't afraid of contact now. I mean, he'll run through you. He'll jump over the top of you and hurdle you. We've seen that under Tucker Kraft. And again, he's going to exploit you down the middle of that field. That big play down the middle of the field where they lost him, just straight up lost him, and Love hit him down the middle of the field for, 50-some yards or whatever this season. That was a perfect example of what you can do not only with Tucker Kraft, but with Luke Musgrave, exploiting the middle of the field. And when you're playing against the zone, that's the type of stuff that you want. You want that exploitation of the middle of the field, and that's what you're hoping to get from those tight ends, Charlie.
Yeah, but you also can't really get that exploitation from a player like Luke Musgrave if he isn't going to sell a block really well and play action passes.
Correct.
Before that. Part of the reason it works so well with a player like Tucker Kraft is because he sells those blocks so clearly at the line of scrimmage that it makes the linebackers bite down a little bit, which opens up the middle of the field as the safeties spread out. And if Luke Musgrave isn't laying down a dominant block like we're hearing Tucker Kraft can do and seeing him being able to do, it doesn't draw the linebackers' eyes to the line of scrimmage and helps them stay back a little bit and stay on a guy like Luke Musgrave, who, if he does have that type of coverage on him, isn't the most coordinated player and can get knocked off of routes a lot easier than a guy like Tucker Kraft, who doesn't really care about getting knocked off his route. He's just going to knock you off first.
He is Charlie Houston, Sparky Fifer with you. You're just tuning in. If you missed the big announcement at 2 o'clock, let me tell you what the new fan daily lineup is going to be starting on Monday, right? It's not starting tomorrow. It's not starting Friday. It's starting on Monday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor Thomas and Josh Albrecht. Of course, Josh Albrecht, a radio veteran. Trevor Thomas has had his name on the radio as well, but most recently the Inside Wisconsin podcast with him and John Anderson, the ESPN Sports Center guy. So Inside Wisconsin Sports weekday morning, 6 to 9. It's going to be a lot of fun there. And then, of course, it's 9 to noon with Kuhn. That's right. The biggest free agent out there in radio right now, Sports Talk Radio, was John Kuhn, and we got him. The former Packer fullback and sideline analyst for the Green Bay Packers will join Rami Makloff, who we all know and love from his time here at the Fan. 9 to noon with both of those guys. Plus, we snagged one of the best producers in the business, Brandon Snide, jumps on board as their producer every day. You'll hear him on the show. And, of course, you know Brandon from Locked On Packers. You know him from Locked On Brewers as well. So be fun to listen to those three guys. Then Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, the Rock, the foundation of the station. They move their time slot to noon to 2. You'll hear Mason and Mitch from noon to 2 every day, brought to you by Verizon. That'll be a lot of fun with Tommy Wirtz still producing and helping out on that show. And then this show, nothing changes. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's with myself, Steve Sparky Fifer, every day 2 to 5 here on the Fan with my guy Charlie Usen back in the studio, continuing to do our thing moving forward. Speaking of doing your thing, Wendy's has been doing their thing for a long time. If you love Wendy's classic chocolate and vanilla frosty flavors, there's some big news. They're all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. It's the same creamy treat you'll always love, now with a flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors? Okay, well, we've got the Frosty Swirls, which we know, strawberry, brownie batter, and caramel. Now, remember, you get that base of vanilla or chocolate Frosty to go with any of those swirls that you want in, right? Now they add the Frosty Fusion. So now you have the Oreo brownie, the caramel crunch, which is like pieces of toffee, and Pop-Tart strawberry. So click in for sweet treat time with Wendy's all new Frosty flavors. A refresh on a classic. It's got to be Wendy's. And I'm telling you, if you are a chocolate lover, That brownie batter Oreo with chocolate frosty base is absolutely amazing. By far, my favorite one for sure. Time now for your fan weather forecast. Let's look at the forecast. It's a beautiful day outside, folks. I'm just telling you. Like hanging out outside. They got the garage doors open here as well. Jack's American Pub. Come hang out over here on Brady Street. Right now, 79 degrees, sunny. Tonight looks like clear skies indeed, and a low of 61. Welcome in. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie Usen there. We are broadcasting live from Jack's American Pub on Brady Street. Come on out. Hang out with us. Shuttles to and from each and every Brewers game. 69-cent wings on Monday. You got two 200-inch TVs here as well for all of your favorite sports games that you want to watch. Plus Thursdays, that's tomorrow, buy a pizza, get a pitcher of beer for free. On Thursdays here at Jack's American Pub on Brady Street. It's going to be a fun one tonight. Brewers and Angels. Tommy Wirtz will be out here from 5 until 6:30 with a leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, getting you ready for Brewers baseball like he is before every game throughout the season. Okay, So speaking of those Milwaukee Brewers, Pat Murphy, Brewers manager, will be on Middays with Thunder tomorrow at 11:30. That's right. You'll hear Pat Murphy on Middays with Thunder tomorrow morning at 11:30 with him and Tommy Wirtz. So make sure to tune into that. This Brewers team is something else, right? So last night they put up a bunch of runs. They beat the Angels, 9 runs, I think it was. They put up a bonus 3, I think it was there in the 8th inning. Yelich, it's his 29th homer of the year. You have Yelich with 99 RBIs on the year. Freddie Peralta, maybe his best pitching performance of the year, I would say, right? I don't know if Charlie would agree.
I would say so.
Yeah, easily. I mean, 94 pitches, gets through 6. Does his deal, has a bunch of strikeouts, had 1 bad pitch essentially. And outside of that was a rock star in that game. You get that Freddie Peralta and gets you through 6 in the postseason on a regular basis. You feel really good about yourself because, again, 94 pitches through 6. If that's a playoff game, if they wanted to run him back out there in the 7th, he had room, Charlie, to go back out there and pitch the 7th if this was a playoff game.
How likely is it that he does that again? Before the playoffs, during the playoffs? Do you feel like this is something that you feasibly believe he can do?
You know, I should have asked this to Jerry Augustine, so failure on my part. But we have Tim Dillard on weekly on this show, normally on Thursdays. And we can't get him on Thursdays, we get him on Fridays. And I'm going to ask him. But when you talk about the pitcher not getting deep into games, and with Freddie Peralta, that's been a thing throughout the year, right? I mean, you're facing another pitcher. Freddie is at like 80-some pitches, and the other pitcher's at like 60-some pitches. And you're like, come on, man, what are we doing? Like, you got to be that guy, that leader that consistently gets us into the 6th and the 7th inning on a consistent basis. And instead, it's been Priester who's been that consistent guy getting you deeper into games. Now, more of a contact hitter, understand, right? He's not maybe striking out as many guys as Peralta, but that has been a talking point about Freddie. I am wondering, and I've not asked Dillard, I didn't ask Jerry Augustine, we just had him on, how much of that has to do with the catcher calling the game plan, and what's being called? Obviously, Freddie can shake off whatever he doesn't want to throw, right? So Jansen, Contreras, whatever, can say, okay, I want a fastball here, and he may shake off until he gets a changeup, or he may shake off until he gets a different pitch that he wants and then throws it. And then maybe that at-bat gets extended because maybe the catcher is looking for the knockout blow, and Freddie doesn't want to give up that pitch because if he's wrong and he misses, boop, gone, there it goes. I wonder how much do you put on the catcher for him not getting deeper into games kind of going forward versus all of it on him? Because in fairness, since the season started, we have put it all on Freddie for not doing this more consistently. There's been no talk about the catcher whatsoever. And it's something that, just popped into my brain now as we were talking about Freddie Peralta. I wonder how much of this may come back to game planning, the catcher, and all of that.
I don't know about that. I think that a guy like Freddie Peralta, at least, throughout what we've seen him do in his career with the Milwaukee Brewers, is it feels like that this isn't something brand new for him, that just this year, because he's pitching so well, I think it stands out a lot more that he is not going as long into these games. And I think that with the new pitch comm devices where you can basically talk to each other, it shouldn't be like that. The communication should be a lot clearer between the catcher and the pitcher. I think, yes, 20 years ago when you didn't have them, you had to rely directly on the signs, and it was just about the pitcher shaking them off. A catcher can get frustrated, and a pitcher can get frustrated with what his catcher's calling. At this point in the game and in this stage of the development of the Major League Baseball, just league in general, that you shouldn't have problems where it is the catcher's fault that a pitcher isn't going deep enough. And that's especially the case when you have a guy like Quinn Priester, who hasn't pitched like this in his career before, is coming to the Brewers for his first year, and seems like he's doing just fine. I don't think there's that excuse for Freddie Peralta.
And that's the thing that I want to talk about with Tim Dillard, and we'll see. And I think Charlie's right, by the way. If I were going to guess, I would guess Charlie's opinion is the correct one. But since I've never asked the question, when we have Tim Dillard on tomorrow, we're Friday. Next time we get him on, he's on every week.
Well, and usually with Dillard, I'm wrong. Like, Dillard is always like the opposite, I feel like, of what I see.
Of what you think?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll find out from Tim Dillard then coming up. The other part about this is Christian Yelich, right? 29 homers, 99 RBIs. I mean, this is the closest we've seen Christian Yelich to MVP since he blew out his knee years ago. And then it had all the back issues after that and trying to work his way back. At one point, he was a leadoff slap hitter at the top of this lineup and was zapped of all of his power. Now you go, you have the back surgery, you do all of that, you come back, you mainly used as only a DH, sparingly as an outfielder, and you've been able to keep Christian Yelich healthy for most of the season, which has been phenomenal, right? How cool is that? Now my question is this. Between Peralta's 17 wins and the great year that he's had, he's probably, third in Cy Young, in the Cy Young race right now?
Third, exactly.
Third, exactly, right? So Peralta's third in the Cy Young race. Yelich is about to go 30-100, which I'm not quite sure anybody saw coming prior to the year. Maybe the dreamers of Brewer fans maybe thought that was coming, but realistically, everybody's like, well, come on. I mean, is he really going to stay healthy long enough to get 30-100? But that's where we're at. The question is, which one has been more impressive to you that we've seen this year? Of those two, which performance has been more impressive to you? Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. You can also tweet at us or hit us up on Facebook at The Fan Milwaukee. Search us on YouTube, streaming this bad boy on YouTube as well at The Fan Milwaukee. Check out our videos, our shorts, all that fun stuff. The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube, and let us know what you think. And if you missed earlier, we introduced our new lineup as well earlier today. The new daily fan lineup starts coming up on Monday. Monday morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor Thomas and Josh Albrecht. Of course, Josh Albrecht, radio vet. Trevor Thomas has been on the radio as well for numerous years, most recently known for his Inside Wisconsin podcast that he does with John Anderson. So those two are the newly formed morning show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Should be a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. A lot of happy times on that morning show. Then 9 a.m. to noon, it's 9 to noon with Kuhn. That's right, the biggest free agent in radio. We landed him here at the Fan. John Kuhn, the former Packer fullback and sideline analyst for the Packers radio broadcast. He's on with Rami Makloff, longtime radio vet here on the Fan. So John Kuhn, Rami Makloff on 9 to noon with Kuhn, weekdays from 9 till noon. And then the Rock, the foundation of the station, the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, brought to you by Verizon. They'll be on from noon until 2 each day, which will be a lot of fun with Tommy Wirtz. And then, of course, Wisconsin Sports Daily here. We don't move. We stay. Nothing changes. Charlie Usen and I living the boring life, staying in our time slot from 2 to 5 in the afternoon. So, again, Inside Wisconsin Sports, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. with Trevor and Josh, 9 to noon with Kuhn, with Rami Makloff. That's follows up that Inside Wisconsin Sports Show. Then the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, noon to 2. And then, of course, Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's from 2 until 5. Charlie, it's a heck of a lineup, just like it's been a heck of a year for Freddie Peralta and Christian Yelich to this point. I think if we're talking about both, I think Christian Yelich is more impressive for me than Freddie Peralta. And, again, I understand. Freddie Peralta may never be third in Cy Young voting, probably before this is all said and done. And we'll see how Cy Young voting happens at the end of the year. This is all just projections right now of how they think the people are going to vote for the Cy Young. So until the season's over, we don't know where he'll finish. But if he finishes top 3, it may be the only time it happens. I don't know. Maybe it'll happen again. The Christian Yelich thing is amazing because I, for one, for 3, 4, 5 years have been saying, dude, just trade this guy. What are we doing? Like, trade him, trade a top prospect, trade 2 top prospects. Just get that salary off the books for Milwaukee, trade him to LA, wherever he wants to go, get him out of here, use that money to sign Burns or sign Woodruff, and let's keep moving. Like, you've got enough. You don't have to continue to throw all this money at Yelich for so long. And guess what? I'm glad they didn't listen to me because they had faith, they had patience, they bought into a Christian Yelich as well and gave him time to figure things out, the back surgery and all that stuff. And they were awarded with maybe, the best year of his career, probably in the last 5 or 6 years, at least one that I think probably a majority of fans did not see coming, Charlie.
No, I don't think most people saw this happening consistently throughout the entire season. I think the moment you started seeing him play well, I guess that last month before the All-Star break, when he started playing pretty consistently like this, it was kind of like, okay, this is what we saw last year, and then he got hurt. So when is that going to happen again? And then it just never happened. It feels like we're getting to see prime Christian Yelich right now, which is just nuts because he wasn't an All-Star. He's not getting any MVP love, and I think his statistical side of things says he deserves both those things after this season. And for Christian Yelich to come back and do that, it is pretty phenomenal. But the difference between him and Freddie Peralta, in my mind, is that we've seen Christian Yelich do this before. So when he does come back like this, while it is still awesome to see, and I'm still excited to see it, I think I'm less surprised to see it. For a guy like Freddie Peralta, we've seen his career go kind of up and down up to this point. I like to call him Jekyll and Hyde before this season. And I think that's indicative of his entire career with the Milwaukee Brewers up to this point. And then this year, he just wasn't that. We saw him pitch well for the first month of the season. I was like, okay, now we see 2 really bad games. And then that just didn't happen. And it just kept going throughout the year. And we didn't get that until 3 weeks ago when he was starting to have that stretch of some bad games. But it also wasn't 100% his fault in those games. And you could see that if you were watching the games, that just the team in general is starting to get tired a little bit. And for him to end this season with some kind of Cy Young love, with some love just across the league of a lot of people talking about him more so than they ever have before, after losing a Corbin Burns, after Brandon Woodruff takes a year and a half to come back, and he's still doing this with all these other names put around him too, because you did get a Brandon Woodruff back. You got a Jacob Mizorowski up in the lineup that took a lot of attention away from him. You had Logan Henderson come up and ball out when he was healthy, and that took attention away from Freddie Peralta. Quinn Priester, people love talking about him, not Freddie Peralta right now. I mean, this is the most surprising thing of the season for the Milwaukee Brewers is Freddie Peralta performing at this level, because we haven't seen this consistently from him before.
I get it. I get what you're saying. Christian Yelich, the last time Christian Yelich hit 30 or more home runs in a season, we're in 2025, by the way, was in 2019. 2019, he was 27 years old that year. He hit 44 homers, 97 RBIs, and 30 stolen bases. He's going to get to 30 and 100, you would think, right? The last time, and the only other time in his career he had 100 RBIs was the year before that in 2018 when he won MVP and had 110 RBIs and 36 home runs and 22 stolen bases, 36, 110, and 22. Right now, he's at 29, 99, and 16. Man, this dude here is putting up close to what his MVP numbers were. Now, again, if we talk about batting average, on base, and slugging, those aren't remotely close, right? Because he's hitting 267. Those 2 years, he had 329, 326. On base numbers were 402 and 429 in those 2 years. This year, 346, slugging 598 and 671 in 2019. His slugging this year is 467. So those other stats don't support how great he was those 2 years. But if we talk about home runs, stolen bases, and the power that goes along with it and the RBIs, this is the first time he's done this since 2018 and 2019. And Again, 2020, 21, 22, 23, I don't think anybody saw him getting back to this level.
No, I don't think that many people did either. But at the same time, I said this yesterday, I believe, with Thunder, that in any other sport, I don't think you see players rejuvenate their careers as often as you do in baseball. And I think when you see guys like Mike Trout consistently go down with injuries and then come back, besides this year where a lot of people feel like he's still injured,
right?
Besides this year, he's come back and just been a phenomenal player like that too. This is the first full season that we've seen of Christian Yelich, besides I think it was the 2021 when he was that leadoff hitter and he was still kind of coming back from that knee injury at that point. It's the first full season of Christian Yelich that we've gotten to see as Brewers fans. So yes, it's been a long time since 2019 since he last put up those stats. But at the same time, this is the first time we've seen him truly be healthy as well. And because of that, again, I think because he's healthy, we should expect these types of numbers from a player like Christian Yelich, who has proven he can do this in the past. And when he's healthy, nothing changes for him.
Yeah, no question about that. He is Charlie using C Sparky Fifer here. Coming up, we'll get to Charlie's Sounds of the Day. Let me tell you about my friends over there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. You're talking about a 2,000 square foot center screen, right? You have 2 levels. That second level you can rent out for business functions, parties, luncheons, whatever you want to do. It's got its own private elevator, whole deal. Very cool setup. That main level, you've got high tops, you've got individual chairs, you've got huge booths that hold like 8 to 10 people, I think, in it. They're gigantic. So all kinds of fun space for you to go hang out, watch your favorite games. Now, having said that, coming up on Monday night, I will be there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook for the Monday night game between Baltimore and Detroit. I'll be there at 6 o'clock. and probably through the first half of the game. We're going to do trivia throughout the game, kind of like Mason and I did when we were there for the draft. Same type of deal. So we'll have trivia questions. We'll have jerseys to give away, autograph stuff to give away, all kinds of cool fan merchandise to give away. And we'll hang out with you through the first half of the game, starting at 6 o'clock on Monday night at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. May want to go online, reserve your seat ahead of time. Nominal fee that goes along with it. That'll go towards your food and beverage at night. But I mean, come on. Detroit, Baltimore, that's going to be a great game on Monday night. Well, I'll be hanging out with you doing some trivia on Monday night at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Looking forward to that. Coming up on the other side, Charlie's Sounds of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's as we broadcast live from Jack's American Pub on Brady Street. Come on out, hang out with us. They got shuttles to and from Brewers games, including tonight. It's the Brewers and the Angels. Again, my thanks to Jerry Augustine, former Brewers pitcher, for joining us back in the first hour of the show. It was awesome. Go back, listen to that on your Odyssey app, or if you download your favorite podcast app. Also, go back, watch it on YouTube as we live stream this bad boy on YouTube. Just search The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. You'll be able to check it out. And if you're coming out here to Brady Street and coming out to hang out with us at Jack's American Pub, don't forget baseball calls for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink with no bubbles to fill you up. It's the perfect game day sipper. Plus, each Sun Cruiser is only 100 calories and 4.5% alcohol, making it perfect for anywhere your watch party takes you. Crack one open today and let the good times cruise, Milwaukee. All right, Charlie, using time for your favorite segment.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on The Fan.
All right, so if you're new to the show and you've never heard this segment before, let me tell you that is, first of all, brought to you by Prize Picks. Use that promo code SPARKY, SPARKY. When you download that Prize Picks app and you are on your way after you make your first $5 lineup, they'll give you $50 to use in funds on the Prize Picks app. What does that mean? That means if you do $5 daily fantasy lineups, 2 to 6 player stat projection lineups, more or less, that means you could play at $5 a crack if that's what you decide to do. You can do however much as you want, but if you go $5, it means you can play 11 different daily lineups over the course of however many days, and it's going to cost you $5. Now, why wouldn't you use a promo code? Please. I mean, it's not that hard. Use promo code SPARKY, SPARKY, when you download the Prize Picks app, and you are on your way. All right, Charlie, where are we going first?
All right, first up, we're going to head over to the Pat McAfee show where Dan Orlovsky joined them, and he was discussing the similarities between successful offenses through the first 2 weeks in the NFL.
We've talked about for a couple years now, quarterbacks underneath the center. I think that's a commonality between the offenses through 2 weeks that have played well. I think the offenses that are being aggressive on first down and play action, not just drop back, play action. Those are the offenses that are performing well. And I think the teams that are willing to play with two or more tight ends on the field on early downs are the teams offensively that are performing well.
Listen, this is the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan effect of how to play football. And really, if you go back to it, it's really the Mike Shanahan effect. Mike Shanahan, of course, coached those Broncos teams to the Super Bowl at the end of Elway's career, beat the Packers in the Super Bowl, which still sucks. So he was a mastermind behind all of that. And then his kid, Kyle Shanahan, grows up coaching under him as well, because Mike coached forever. And then Kyle takes that, and then with all his minions, LaFleur and McVay and all these guys, they blow it up and expand it again and make it popular again, Charlie. I mean, really, Mike Shanahan, years later, still is responsible for this.
It really is, but I think that's responsible for his son being a head coach in the NFL and being the leader of this group of coaches that are all floating around the NFL as well. I think this is honestly indicative of what I've talked about with the NFL before, where everything is kind of on a cycle in the sport of football, where you go away from the running backs because the pass games are so much more explosive. You have these West Coast style offenses where you can spread out the ball so much more, and that safeties and all these other players that are more built to play behind and stop the deep plays, stop the play action plays, they're becoming irrelevant too. But then 5 years later, people are starting to see running backs can be used in a more dynamic way. You can start using them in that LT fashion. And because of that, you don't need your quarterbacks to be the same kind of athletes as they were before. You just need them to be able to read a defense better than anybody else. And now safeties are becoming a lot more weaponized for a lot of these teams, like we saw a little bit with the Seattle Seahawks and the Legion of Boom that they had there. Everything is on a cycle. And I think that 20 years ago, with Mike Shanahan, we saw these two tight end sets and a lot of play action passes, and you saw quarterbacks build up these gaudy stat lines because you were able to fool defenses that way. You're just going to see that cycle happen again here. And then I think in about 5 years, we're going to start seeing them go back to quarterbacks that are supposed to be way more exceptional than everybody else, stuck with one really great wide receiver. And it's just going to keep rotating like that.
Last time the San Francisco 49ers won a Super Bowl, you know what year that was?
Not off the top of my head.
1995. 1995. Try one more. 1990.
6 years before.
Yes, 1995. Okay, that was actually my first year in radio. Oh no, second year in radio. So from that perspective, we're all copying a guy that have won one. Don't have a ring. It's one thing to copy Andy Reid. It's one thing to copy the cheater Bill Belichick. All right, man, I get it, right? He's winning. Let's go copy and do what he does. It's one thing to copy Steve Kerr and Golden State because it was working and they were winning. Okay, fine, I get it. Normally, you copycat a team, an organization that wins a championship or championships, whatever the case may be. This league has copied a guy that has never, ever finished, Charlie. I mean, if you think about that, that's kind of crazy if you think about it. McVay finished, and he was one of Shanahan's guys, was Sean McVay. And I'm willing to bet you LaFleur finishes before Shanahan does.
Probably. And I don't think that's exactly a bad thing because when you look at what the San Francisco 49ers have done under Shanahan, they've been to 2 Super Bowls, and every other year that they haven't been to a Super Bowl, it's been because their entire team is just decimated by injuries. So I think people understand that when they're looking at the style of offenses that he's been running and the ability that he has to bring in basically any quarterback that he wants and they can fit into that system, into that scheme, and that basically you can do that at almost every other position as well is kind of unheard of. And the fact that other coaches are following this, even though he hasn't won a Super Bowl, I think says more about this system than if he had won a Super Bowl and everybody was just trying to copy it.
Let's go to clip number 2, Charlie Usen.
Next up, we're going to hear from one of your favorites, Sparky, Colin Cowherd, on the Herd on FS1. He was discussing who the greatest football coach of all time is.
Football's different. There's the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and then there's the College Football Hall of Fame. But I was thinking this morning that if you combined it like basketball, and it was just, there was a Football Hall of Fame, you could count college and pro. I would make an argument today. The greatest coach in the history of football is not Bill Belichick or Bill Walsh or Vince Lombardi.
Those two.
It's Jim Harbaugh, the greatest coach ever.
Shut up.
Think about this.
Stop this nonsense. Get out of here. Stop. I'm not listening to this nonsense. I don't even care what he said. I don't even care what he said. I don't. Listen, is Jim Harbaugh a damn good head coach? Yes. Yes, he is a damn good head coach. He won a national championship in Michigan. Now they're all paying the receipts of what he did while he was there in order to win the national championship. So if you believe, Connor was cheating and Harbaugh knew about it, which Harbaugh goes, I don't know anything. But if you think that was all a thing, right? If you're a conspiracy theorist, right? Does he get credit for that? For cheating to do whatever he had to do to get to it if you're a conspiracy theorist? Probably not. Now, Belichick got caught twice with this crap. So that's different than this because we don't have proof necessarily that he knew for sure. We all have our ideas whether or not he knew it for sure or not. Then we have the NFL side of things, right? Yes, he took San Francisco there. Then the mysterious power outage happens, and they lose that Super Bowl. I will always have conspiracy theories about that one. Either way, so he doesn't win the Super Bowl there either. Is he really good? Yes. Can he take a crap organization and make it into a really good organization? Yes. He absolutely can do that. Is he weird in his own way and all of that? Yes. Do players buy into him and will run through a wall for him? Absolutely, yes, they will, right? He is not going to be a coach that has back-to-back 4-win seasons. Not going to happen. You could give him the Cleveland Browns. They're going to figure out a way to win more than 4 damn games every year. I promise you, they will win. So he is a really, really good head coach. I'm not saying he's not. But I'm sorry, man. It still rings. You still have to have rings, plural, before we get into that conversation of being the greatest coach of all time. We're not there. Absolutely not there. No. Because, again, if we're going to say that, right, then how is he in front of Pete Carroll? If we're going to say college and pro, how is he in front of Pete Carroll? Tell me that one, Charlie. If cheating and all that stuff doesn't matter, then Pete Carroll's in front of him.
Well, and Colin, if you wanted to let him finish, he would have brought up Jimmy Johnson as well as another coach.
That's not fair. Nope.
Why is that not fair?
Unless I missed something. I haven't seen anything tied to cheating with Jimmy Johnson at college or pro. Maybe I missed something on the Hurricanes, but I don't remember an investigation. I don't remember them going on probation. I don't remember him getting show caused out of college football or anything crazy like that. He left because Jerry Jones and all his money came and brought him in to take a Dallas team that was god-awful, traded Herschel Walker. Jimmy Johnson was the talent evaluator, not Jerry. He's the one that went out and helped build that damn thing going forward. He did way more than Jim Harbaugh ever did. That's not even remotely close. Like, again, I'll say this. I'll take Jimmy Johnson over Jim Harbaugh. I'll take Jimmy Johnson over Pete Carroll, too, if we're going to compare all of this. But Harbaugh is third on that list. If you put Carroll, Harbaugh, and Jimmy Johnson, Harbaugh is third.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I thought this was weird from Colin Cowherd, too. Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff from Colin Cowherd. Clip 3.
Last up here, we're going to head over to Good Morning Football, where Kyle Brandt each week does his angry runs.
Mr. Bear himself.
And he wanted to give some love to Jordan Love.
Jordan Love? Yeah! Give me Jordan Love with the boom! Are you kidding me? Look at what he does to this professional defender. He turns him into a pretzel twist. This is cheese and pretzels. Pretzels and cheese. Master and commander. Green Bay, you love this. Unfreeze it. It's a beautiful thing right there. I love that what Jordan Love does here. There's no sliding. There's no will he or won't he nonsense on the sideline. It was always won't he, because he ain't going out of bounds. He is lowering that shoulder. There was no hole. He's going to make a hole, Jordan Love, like Courtney Love. You could have put out Faison Love, Quest Love, Kevin Love, Jennifer Love Hewitt. What are you waiting for, huh? You're waiting for Jordan Love to say, nah. I got this right here. I love that. This segment's supposed to be about hate. Sometimes it's about love. And yet, sometimes it's about unexpected players showing up who you might not think are going to get the scepter or even be in contention for it.
You all think I yell a lot? You all think I'm on something like bouncing off the walls? You think I'm nuts? Did you just hear? I can only imagine what it looked like. That dude there, man. Like I would be like, yeah, can we talk? What did you take or drink before you came on the TV show? What is going on?
He got all the smelling salts that they banned in the NFL.
Yeah, but clearly Tommy and Mason do it before every show now. But my thing is this: I give him credit because as much as he drives me nuts with all his Bears love, that angry runs thing that he does is beloved by players in the league. It's like awesome. They want to be on that segment. They think it's an honor to be on that segment. I promise you, and I've not seen Jordan Love if he responded to this or not, but I would imagine Jordan Love is just jacked up that he made that angry run segment with Kyle Brandt at the end of the day, Charlie. It really has become a thing where guys react on social media or react in a press conference if they're asked about it, or if they go on NFL Network, right away they'll react to it and love seeing themselves on there. I think it really has become something, and I think it was started out just as a fun segment, and now it's become a whole big deal that Kyle Brandt has built up.
I think for Jordan Love in this situation, yes, he's probably going to be pretty excited that he got put into that. But I think also Matt LaFleur probably sat him down after that run and said, you can't do that. Like, we need you to slide in situations like this. We need you to stay healthy and keep your legs underneath you. And knowing Jordan Love, he probably thinks pretty similarly. He thinks it's cool that he went out and did that and lowered his shoulder. But watching the film afterwards, he's like, man, that was risky.
Yep. But again, and I said it on the post game that night, like, love it. Big fan that he used his legs and did his thing. When he dropped his shoulder, I was like, uh-oh. Boom, hit that dude. I was like, whoo, man, he just crushed that dude. But at the same time, you're like, man, don't dislocate your shoulder. Don't do something crazy like that.
This is how Cam Newton ruined his career, basically, going from MVP to nothing by just running into people for no reason.
But the thing is, this dude has had a history of being hurt since he's been a starter, right? It's not like he's a picture of health and plays through everything. He gets hurt, and then he has to be out because whatever it is too bad to play through. So that is my concern. But yes, you want to see him continue to use his legs and get better. Coming up next, our green and gold update. Brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Hour number 3 straight ahead here at Jack's American Pub on Brady Street. And again, if you haven't heard about the new daily lineup that's going to start on Monday here on The Fan, tell you about that coming up as well. Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's live from the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.